What you about to watch is Jim Amo exposing how Trump's tariffs and Republican inaction are directly hurting everyday Americans, taking hundreds of dollars from their pockets and threatening their health care.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Stutzman. And I now recognize from my colleague from Rhode Island, Mr. Amo, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And before I get started, I certainly want to add my voice to the chorus in celebrating the committee's chairman for being such a great member, a great leader. You've been such a gentleman to me in the short time that I've been on the Budget Committee, and I wish the people of Texas's 19th Congressional District well, but they've been very well served. And thank you to our witness for being here. I know today my Republican colleagues have spoken about the importance of transparency, but I'm a little confused because if my colleagues care so much about transparency, where is Director Vogt? I know he's known by a lot of names, so it might be hard to track him down. The Grim Reaper, the chainsaw of bureaucracy, the shadow president. But, I think we should be able to find him. And it's also the case that we don't have the nonpartisan leaders of the Government Accountability Office testify. So perhaps my Republican colleagues, don't want the American people to hear about OMB Director Vogt's crusade against Congress's power of the purse and the rule of law. Perhaps my Republican colleagues, may talk the talk about transparency, but don't, care that much about it. They have an opportunity to let people know why the big ugly law is going to kick 15 million Americans off their health insurance and force Rhode Islanders, my constituents, to choose between buying groceries and getting their annual checkup. My colleagues are hiding how Trump's chaotic tariffs are costing the average American $1,700 a year, equal to an extra month of rent. My constituents have already seen Trump's inflation take $580 from them this year. Now, this seems to me a plan to conceal the reverse Robin Hood scheme that we argued about in this very room when we fought very hard against the reconciliation package. But my Republican friends aren't jacking up prices for everybody. They're tipping the scale in favor of billionaires and big corporations. And if they move quick, like they did this year, maybe the American people won't notice. But I know back home, Rhode Islanders will not fall for that. Yesterday, I met with a constituent of mine, Marlene, a soon-to-be-retired public school teacher and breast cancer survivor from Barrington, Rhode Island. She told me that her health insurance premiums will skyrocket by an extra $600 a month thanks to Republicans' refusal to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits, yet another attack in the long war and crusade against the Affordable Care Act. And so, don't forget, my colleagues didn't just refuse to extend these tax credits, they shut down the government over it. So Marlene might be able to scrimp and scrounge, and she might be able to cut back to the bone just to possibly keep her health insurance. The fact of the matter is, it does not have to be this way. So, Director Swagel, could you just tell me how many people will lose their health insurance coverage next year if the Republicans continue refusing to extend the ACA enhanced premium tax credits?
So our projections are that over time, it will be about 4 million people will become uninsured as with the expiration of the enhanced premium tax credits. It'll start a little bit lower than that and then build up to 4 million.
And, Director, we know that my constituent Marlene will see her premiums skyrocket. Would other families see their out-of-pocket premium costs increase significantly because of the inaction?
That's right. The expiration of the enhanced premium tax credits will lead to higher out-of-pocket costs for people with that insurance coverage. It'll depend on families' income and their age and things like that. Some will have very large increases in out-of-pocket costs, and some will have more moderate ones.
Well, look, I don't know how you come to any other conclusion but this. These actions that I can describe as nothing else but dastardly, dastardly are making people poor, making people sicker. Poorer and sicker. There's no other translation back home. And so, your objective analysis has shown that, but we're seeing it, we're hearing it from our constituents, and the time to act is now. I yield back.
I thank the gentleman from Rhode Island, and I now recognize my good friend and fellow colleague from the great state of Georgia.
What you just watched is a masterclass in holding policy to the light, exposing how abstract economic decisions translate into real consequences for everyday Americans. Congressman Jim Amo doesn't just speak in numbers or partisan talking points, he connects these policies directly to the lived experiences of his constituents. When he talks about Trump's tariffs and their ripple effect, he isn't theorizing. He's showing that, for the average Rhode Islander, inflation isn't just a statistic. It's $580 out of their pockets this year alone. That's a concrete, measurable impact on families trying to put food on the table, pay rent, and cover medical bills. Amo frames this as part of a larger pattern, a reverse Robin Hood approach, where ordinary Americans pay more so that billionaires and large corporations can benefit. He highlights that this isn't accidental. It's a systematic choice reflected in decisions like refusing to extend the Affordable Care Act premium tax credits. For people like Marlene, a soon-to-be retired public school teacher and breast cancer survivor, these policies are not abstract. They are the difference between getting her necessary health care or choosing between groceries and a checkup. By personalizing policy in this way, Amo makes the stakes impossible to ignore. He also critiques the performative rhetoric of his colleagues. While Republicans claim to value transparency, Amo points out that the very officials who could provide real answers, the nonpartisan leaders of the Government Accountability Office, are absent. This gap exposes a tension in politics. While lawmakers speak of accountability, they sometimes prevent constituents from accessing the facts that matter most to their daily lives. Amaro's insistence on confronting these realities head-on exemplifies what oversight is supposed to look like, connecting policy to outcomes, demanding clarity, and refusing to let political theater overshadow tangible consequences. What makes this commentary essential for viewers is the human layer. Amo reminds us that policies, tariffs, tax credits, healthcare decisions, are not abstract exercises in numbers. They have real consequences for real people, and those consequences compound. 4 million Americans could lose their health insurance next year if current decisions continue. Families will face skyrocketing premiums, medical bills, and the impossible choice of prioritizing basic needs over health. By grounding his argument in the stories of constituents, Amo shows how political decisions shape the fabric of everyday life, not just the headlines. For viewers, the lesson is clear. Understanding government policy isn't just about following legislation, it's about seeing how it impacts families, communities, and the most vulnerable. Amo demonstrates that scrutiny, accountability, and personal storytelling are essential tools for citizens trying to make sense of the often opaque world of policy. If you want more analysis like this, to see the human consequences behind economic decisions and political maneuvering, go ahead and like this video and subscribe to Left Lens. Share it with others so they can understand the real-life stakes behind the policies that affect their lives. This is what accountability looks like when it's brought directly to the people, and it's a lesson in why paying attention to politics matters.